Golden Globe nominee and star of Song Sung Blue, Kate Hudson. Congratulations on a SAG After Actors Award nomination just this morning. That's huge because when it's your peers, it hits different. So, what was that like finding out this morning?
I was crying. I cried before they announced a nomination. I was just overwhelmed. I've been very overwhelmed. And I just was so like, even the fact that I had nerves about a nomination made me emotional. You know, this has been such an amazing experience. I love our movie. I feel so grateful to be in it and to be able to do all the things that got to do. So when I was listening today, I was sort of like, well, I'm either gonna cry because I don't, or I'm gonna cry because I do. So I just started to cry, and then I got nominated, and I was so thrilled. And like it does hit you differently when you've been in the industry for a long period of time. You know, it's like 25 years. I've been I grew up in it. We're all actors, like our whole family, you know. These are like my people, you know, and these are the people that I love to go to work with every day, that I get to like be silly with and go to like vulnerable places with, and it just feels great. It just feels really wonderful.
Now that you've been in it longer, does it feel different?
Yeah, but very much, very much, because Almost Famous felt like a giant invitation to the industry. It was like, welcome to the industry. It was like a whirlwind. It was very different time, not as many things, not as much. It was still wild and there was lots going on, but this is a very different work. 25 years later, it's different. And then I feel it feels like, in a sense, there's a part of me that feels it's like I remember when I got really nervous to present this award. I was presenting sort of a lifetime award to a friend, and I Reese Witherspoon looked at me and she's like, "Are you nervous?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "Why?" Girl, she goes, "Girl, you earned to be here. You earned this." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't feel that way about myself." Like I don't think that way. But there was something about this where it feels like, wow, 25 years of being an actor, it feels like what an amazing feeling to go through all the successes and all of the failures, all of these things, and to be here and to actually have this experience again. It's almost like your third baby, you know? It's like you just soak it in completely differently. You take it in, everything in differently, because you realize that how it just doesn't happen very often.
And this movie almost didn't happen. I mean, I spoke to Craig Brewer. He said that he heard a lot of no's. Nobody wanted to make it. And he got Hugh Jackman signed on. And then Hugh said, we got to get Kate Hudson in this thing. So, what was it like for you when they brought this to you? What was your experience sort of reading the script and hearing about this incredible duo?
Excited. If I'm being really honest, I read the script was so good. And then I was like, this could go either incredibly right or it could go horribly wrong. And that's thrilling because you know that you're stepping into something that you have to commit to 1,000% and have absolute trust in the filmmaker and your partner. And in this, that's you. And once we started the process, I started to feel like a relief of like, this is Craig knows exactly what he's doing. He brought like every ounce of what I know he is as a writer and a director. Like this is his sweet spot. He's in his pocket in this movie, and it felt that way on set. And he allowed me to like go in. I think sometimes people tend to push back, whether it be like with an accent or how far you go with something, but he was able to like we were able to hold it. He was able to allow me to like commit to it in a way that I needed to, and he got a great steady performance, which when you read the script you're like, you just never know, right? Thrilling,
Yeah.
nerve-wracking, exciting, and also, when do you ever get to do all these things in one movie? It's so rare. We also get to sing live, and some of it's recorded, some of it's live. It's sort of had everything I love in one part. It's just so rare. And rare for them to want me to do that.
Was there a part of you that would like this part of you that released her debut album in 2024 that related to this person who had this dream? I mean, you have a successful career, but you still had dreams and aspirations. So there's a piece of Claire in you.
Oh, yeah. There's a piece of Claire, I think, in everybody. I think the biggest thing is her grit and her resilience. It's like the ultimate, you want to obviously, like, I'm very protective over, like, this is a real person who experienced this in her life. It's crazy what she's been through. And when I watch her, it's like she is the ultimate hero. Like, and loving something, like having to be on stage, loving to sing. It's still like it does, she just loves it. It fills her life and it makes her life happy. And it doesn't have to be a Madison Square Garden or, Stade de France. It can be a karaoke Thai restaurant. The one thing I didn't think was going to happen when I did my album was to get women in their 40s or late 30s and 40s who were like, that made me want to go do this. This made me want to, when I saw that you did that, it inspired me to realize I don't, like, why am I afraid to do something new or different or out, like, you kind of get to a certain age and people tell you, like, no, you're too old to do that now, or this is what you chose in your life, so you can't make a U-turn or a 180 or a detour. And like this movie, I did that for myself without thinking that that's what I was doing. But this movie is like a great reminder that that you don't have to lose sight of believing in yourself as you get older, that you could do anything, whether it be love, second chance at love, or music, or having an accident, being able to get through it and go back at it. I don't know. There's so many things like that in this movie that are a reminder that we kind of put so many barriers up for ourselves.
You really transform in this, and I was talking before we started that I grew up in like a hockey town. I grew up in North Dakota, and then I lived in Minnesota for a long time, right next
Yeah.
to Wisconsin. So I've judged the accents, and yours is one of the best. I mean, the Midwestern
Thank
accent, which can
you.
be really obnoxiously like destroyed in a lot of films, you did really well. So where did you learn that, and like how did you nail that accent?
I grew up I worked with a woman for 26 years who's from Wisconsin. And she was also my nanny once upon a time. So she was my nanny, then she left, and then I needed someone to help work with me. And I went to her and I was like, would you be my assistant? Because I trusted her so much. And then she was like, absolutely not. I will never work for you. And then she goes, okay, fine, I'll give you 6 months and I'll help you out until you find someone. And then 26 years later, she retired and went back to Wisconsin. I made fun of Kathy's accent my entire childhood. I would talk like her. She would, but what I realized was that her accent wasn't a totally Wisconsin accent. I had to change some of my instincts, which what I thought was Wisconsin actually weren't correct. And so Jess, our amazing dialect coach, sort of had to pull me away from a lot of, like, Kathy words that I grew up with. She used to say, like, sorry, like more, um, more like Fargo, minute, I'm so sorry, or in Canadian. But anyway, I'm getting into the weeds. There's that, but then there was the documentary. So I also, Claire has a very specific kind of voice. So I wanted to get a little bit of that. Yeah, and I actually love doing accents, and I don't get very many opportunities to do them, which hopefully I was thinking about the other day. I was like, what's the accent that I really want to do. I want to do like a deep North Irish accent. So I start thinking about all these accents. I'm like, what could be another good accent? Um, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
When you look at like all of the great musical performances, did you have one that was just like, God, that was the most fun? Like, did you become the biggest fan of one Neil Diamond song that you just like maybe didn't love before, but did you fall in love with something brand new?
Holly Holy, I think, was the one that I remember feeling. I loved the whole experience of that song. When we pre-recorded it, it felt like the first time that Hugh and I really like locked. It was sort of in the middle of the songs that we've been recording, and we it just felt like we locked in on that song. Then when we were filming it, it's such an important part in the movie for Claire, and like the kiss was a improv. It wasn't written. There were so many things in that that just sort of happened. Um, and I just love that moment in the movie. And so I think that was probably my favorite. It felt that way in the recording studio. It felt that when we were shooting it. And then when I saw it, I think that's the time I got most emotional and for myself in the movie.
Audiences are just loving this. It's a 97% Rotten Tomatoes audience score. And I think that's better. I think that's more important than critics. The critics scores are high too, but the audience score 97%. I was at the AFI premiere. Ike Barinholtz was sitting behind me,
Oh,
um,
oh my God. He
crying.
was
He
crying.
weeps like a
Oh.
baby. Did you know this about him? And what is your response to people's response to this film?
I think that's what makes this look. There's moments in your career that, like, I think sometimes people get in an awards circuit moment and it's like, wow, I didn't expect that, right? But there's something about this movie that makes all of this like even feel sweeter and like more like it makes it so emotional. Like I've been crying from the second I've been making this movie till now. And I have sat with people I don't know who've seen the movie, who've come up to me crying, and I've cried with them. And I think it's like there's so many things about it, but one of the things that moves me the most is that it reminds me that people really want to see movies like this, that we can still make these movies. And it almost becomes bigger than anything else that like when you can all you want, there's a million reasons to make art. There's a million reasons to make movies. You make them to entertain. You can make them to be an art house film. You could make them to see once and never see again because it's just too much. Uh, there's a million types of movies, but the movies that like people long to see again or can't wait to go back to, or who want to talk to you about it, or you see someone on the street and they're drawn to tell you why it means something to them. That is something that does not come around very often. And it's like, I just feel so, I know it's so cheesy, but like blessed to be in a movie like that. I think we're in a time right now where we need to save the art form. We need people in seats. We need to be making things people want to see again and again. We want to make them so that they are not just entertaining, they're also art. And Song Sung Blue hits that sweet spot. And it just doesn't happen like that often. And it's like the moments where you're like, I must have done something right in the past life because like that's why I fell in love with making movies was because I had those experiences. It's why I've chosen to do what my parents do is because I love sitting in a movie theater and I love the experience. And then to see people having that and be in it is like it's just like what is sweet life? How amazing is that?